Mhm. All right. Screen number 1 is up. Let's make sure TikTok is moving. Hey, hey, hey. All righty. Whew. Okay. So what's up, everybody? If you're watching the replay, thanks for watching. And if you're watching it live, hey, everybody. Oh, shit. I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Shoot. That's what I should have said. All right. But what's up, everybody? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Markia. I'm known as the Money Plug here on social media. I am a certified financial education instructor, a board certified credit repair specialist, and a board certified credit score consultant. I use my platform to teach you guys all about money and credit and your student loans and all that good stuff that affects your financial future, pretty much. Hey. And let people come in. So the reason why I went live is, first of all, I know you guys are super used to me going live every week, and I've been really, really, really busy Q4, so I haven't been going live as consistently as I would like. But that is coming to a close, hopefully sometime soon. I've been working on a lot of different things. If you guys have been following my various social media accounts, then you know that there's a lot going on here with my little one-man band. But it's all coming together, and it's finally giving me, I now have the opportunity to take back some of my time. So we'll be doing a lot more of these lives. Oh, thank you for the rose. We'll be doing a lot more of these lives and stuff like that. But I just posted a video on TikTok. Now, I didn't post it on any other platform. So if you're watching me on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, it's likely that you haven't seen it yet. However, it's a 3-minute video where I talk about becoming a sovereign citizen and why that does not inherently absolve you of any debt. Now, a lot of people are going to be upset by this video. And by a lot of people, I mean a hit dog will holler every time. There are a lot of content creators, especially in the personal finance space, as I navigate this arena, who love being controversial, shake the table, say whatever to get a bunch of engagement, and then you can consume my real content. And I hate that for us. I hate that we have become slaves to the algorithm, and we have become slaves to the engagement and the likes and the followers. And it's allowing you to change the reason you were doing this in the first place. A lot of people, or at least what you've been telling us, a lot of people purport, to be for the people, and I'm doing this to change the world and all this other stuff. But some of these posts, I'm looking at y'all kind of crazy. For example, if you follow me on Twitter, you might have seen a post that I retweeted earlier, and I also posted it on LinkedIn, where there was a guy who was talking about his wealth hack is that he eats breakfast at different hotels every day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, he eats at all these different hotels. And he's like, all you got to do is go in there and pretend that you are a person staying at the hotel. You just act like you belong, you eat, you leave. And that sounds super easy to, people who don't have to worry about certain things, right? But for people who look like me, unfortunately, the first thing I thought when I saw that post was, yo, if I did that, they're calling the police on me. Like, and I felt like, first of all, I felt like the post was a joke. There's no way you're going into all of these different hotels and eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I really don't see that happening for free. But I mean, I don't know. I just feel like we need to stop posting stuff for shock value. We need to stop posting stuff just to get likes and just to get engagement. At what point are we holding ourselves accountable for the content that we're putting out? Like, we're not just regular creators. Let's be clear. We are educational creators. People lean on us for knowledge. That's the whole point of people following us. That's the whole point of people even interacting with our content, is because they trust us to be somebody in their life who is providing some sort of knowledge that they did not have previously. So if they're trusting you for knowledge and you're putting out bullshit, then what do you think they're internalizing? They're internalizing that bullshit. They're repeating that bullshit. And this whole becoming a sovereign citizen and then absolving you of all of your debt, this is another example of that bullshit. Now, I do want to make it abundantly clear, and I also said it in the video, that I am not against becoming a sovereign citizen. Becoming a sovereign citizen is not what is up for discussion. That's none of my business. I am not a sovereign citizen. If you want to do that, if you identify that as that, good for you. My issue is when people who are sovereign citizens or push becoming sovereign citizens, when they tell people that you can become a sovereign citizen to absolve yourself of the debt, or you can become a sovereign citizen and then get all the money back that the government owes you. And that's where I've been running into some issues. What happened was last week, I got some engagement on a really old post that I did. It was a really old TikTok that I did talking about why you cannot send a 1099-C to a creditor to absolve yourself of debt. I've seen a lot of content recently that pushes that narrative, which is kind of weird to me, but whatever. And the big thing was that they were saying that another one of the comments said it's because they were not operating as a sovereign citizen, and another one said it's because they weren't operating in a trust. And in the video, I broke down what a 1099-C is and why you don't send that to a creditor. They send one to you. And I recently got some new engagement on it of a young lady who was saying that she did it for her dad. She went and she took the 1099 and she took it to the Federal Reserve and she got a check and she used the check to pay off the car and da-da-da-da-da. Like, and she just really wasn't trying to listen to reason. But a lot of you don't understand that I find really funny is that scams work. In order for a scam to be successful, it has to work. And so of course, there are people who have done these things or done something similar to this and got some money back. Or you get what I'm saying? Or paid these things off. Now, that's not to say that it didn't come back and bite them in the ass. And if you don't believe me, you can literally go search this. There are a lot of people who were pushing the whole becoming a sovereign citizen and reclaiming money that the government owed you. And they're all locked up still or got locked up for a certain amount of time for defrauding the government. So for those of you who are unaware, becoming a sovereign citizen is when you emancipate yourself from the government. So the story that most people are pushing is that at some point in time, America went bankrupt. And so in order to be bailed out by international banks, they offered constituents as collateral. So we are the collateral, and our birth certificate and our social security cards are not just documents, they are contracts that are used to generate income for the government. And that somehow, some way, there's a secret bank account based off of like things that you do. I think it's like transactions and stuff that you make. The government makes money off of that or something like that. And anyway, there's a secret bank account with like $630,000 in it. For some reason, it's always a specific number when I did my research. But apparently there's a bank account with $630,000 in it that is rightfully yours if you emancipate yourself from the government or become a sovereign citizen. Now, the IRS has already come out multiple times and said that that is not true. There is no secret fucking bank account that has money sitting in it that you can claim. However, there are scams and schemes that have been used or utilized. Yeah, I guess used could be a good word. That have been used to get people some money that validates that claim for a lot of people. And what I mean by that is this. So that particular scheme is when they have you send in something known as a 1099 OID. A 1099 OID is a real IRS tax form. Like, that's a legitimate form, but it's used to report a special type of interest from certain bonds that were issued at a price less than the value you can redeem them for once the bond matures. And so what they do is when they fill it out, and I think I actually have a copy of it here. Okay, let me see if I can hold on, I'll take this off so you guys can see it a little clearer. But this is a copy of a 1099 OID. Now, when this is filled out, what they do is they put random or fake, fraudulent, whatever you want to call it, they put fake numbers in here to make it look like you are owed money from the government. Now, just like any other scam, sometimes it works for people. They send this paperwork in and boom, they get a check. And so instantly, people start thinking, oh shit, this is legit. Just because it works does not mean that it's legal. That's it. That's the tweet. Just because it worked for some people doesn't mean that it was legal. And I think that's the disconnect that a lot of people are seeing, because when I say, hey, that's not legal, the first thing that people say out their mouth is, well, how is it not legal and my father got money? Because your father committed fraud. What else you want me to say? How else do you want me to say it? Y'all literally get on these social media accounts and will openly admit to committing federal crimes on social media. And then you use the fact that you committed the crime and got away with it to justify pushing that same fraud to other people and having all of them try it, which I think is super fucking weird. Sending in a 1099 OID is not reclaiming money that the government owes you from some secret bank account. Sending in a 1099 OID with fraudulent figures or numbers in the document can get you a hefty fine, and in some cases, jail time. Now, the second scheme or scam that I often see associated with becoming a sovereign citizen is one where they tell you to send in either a 1099-A or a 1099-C to a creditor, and then the creditor will send you a check that you take to the Federal Reserve and cash it or something to that effect. So now, I'm not even mad at the people pushing this. Who I'm mad at is everybody else. And the reason why I'm mad is because these cell phones, these devices can power spaceships. Like, we literally have the power of the internet in our pocket. And we are still blindly following the logic of people on social media whom we've never met before, but we trust them because they got a lot of followers, right? Instead of us fact checking and doing all that other stuff, you just blindly follow these people, which is really confusing because if you literally go on the IRS website, they have it written out. Every single document that they provide, they have a breakdown on who uses it, when to use it, and how to fill it out. Now, a 1099-A is an actual IRS tax form, but it's like the lender acquires property from a foreclosure, and then they would fill out that 1099-A. That's usually when you would see it. It's a tax form that lenders submit to the IRS whenever they get property as a result of a foreclosure or when it was abandoned. That is what a 1099-A is used for. So how can you use a 1099-A to get rid of some debt? Don't worry, I'll wait. Exactly. But all you had to do was go to the IRS website to look at that. Now, there's other people who push that, no, it's not a 1099-A, it's a 1099-C. You're supposed to fill out a 1099-C and send that to a creditor. So here, now this one is a little more convoluted and a lot more easy to disprove. So the theory is that when a creditor charges off your debt, this means that you no longer owe because they wrote that off on their taxes. And so if you send them a 1099-C, then they will erase the debt. You don't owe it. It's completely paid off and it will come off your credit. That is a fucking lie. I don't know how else to say it to y'all. I'm getting so frustrated making these videos and fighting for my life in the comments because y'all play with me. Y'all be in the comments calling me all kinds of names. I'm a sheep. I'm not woke. I let the white man tell me what to do. Baby, I follow the law. I do not look good in orange, and I'm not willing to test that theory. When a company charges off a debt, that does not absolve you of any debt. And that's also something that you can check with the FCRA or the Fair Credit Reporting Act. When a debt is charged off, that just means that no additional charges will be added to that account. That means that the account is completely closed. They cannot add you, like if it's a credit card, you can't swipe your card and get anything else. It's not going to get any additional interest outside of what was already agreed upon in the contract, et cetera, et cetera. You see what I'm saying? That is what charged off means. When a company charges off your debt, they have two options. They can either continue to pursue you for this debt, or they can sell this debt to a collection company. Now, that is completely within their right to do so. No, they do not need your consent. No, they do not need your permission. No, they do not need to notify you before it happens. Only thing that is required to happen is that if a debt is sold to a debt collection company, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act states that within 5 days, that company has to reach out to you in whatever way that they have on file to tell you, hey, we bought your debt. If you would like to dispute it, here is our contact information. You have 30 days to dispute it. If you don't, we're going to report it to the credit bureaus. This is not to say that you owe this debt and it's a legitimate debt just because we're reporting it. However, after the 30-day period, we are going to report it. And I think it says something specifically like failure to dispute the debt does not mean you are liable or something like that. So that is the only thing that has to happen after an account is charged off, right? Now, if they decide not to sell it to a debt collection company, they can literally pursue you for the rest of your life for this debt. However, there are certain things, right? Like after 7 years. Now, it's 7 years from the date of first delinquency, y'all, no matter whether it's in collections or charge off. So for 7 years, it reports on your credit. And the date of first delinquency is the first missed payment that led to the charge off, for those of you who don't know. So for 7 years, it's going to report on your credit. Even if it comes off your credit, they can still call you every day. They can call you every day and try to collect on this debt because you still owe it. Just because it's not reporting to the credit bureaus does not mean that you don't owe this debt. Now, there is something known as the statute of limitations, which limits how long a company can take you to court for this debt. But just because they don't take you to court don't mean that they can't contact you to try to get you to pay it. You get what I'm like? They could pursue you for the rest of your life for this debt. whether it's on your credit or not. Now, back to the original story, right? So what they were saying is that by becoming a sovereign citizen, right, what you can do is you can send them a 1099-C, which would absolve you of the debt that you owe, right? And then I guess it would just erase it from your credit report. It's always really murky. Like that whole connection is really murky. Now, a 1099-C is a debt cancellation form. However, you can only fill out this form if you are a financial institution and a specific event has occurred. Now, that specific event is debt forgiveness. So for those of you who live in a state, for those of you who are getting student loan forgiveness, this is a really good example. For those of you getting student loan forgiveness, some of you will be getting a 1099-C in the mail. It depends on what state you live in. And you will be charged interest. I mean, not interest. I'm sorry. You will be taxed for the amount that was forgiven if it's greater than $600. That's something they're trying to fight, but that is the unfortunate truth. A debt cancellation form is something that's filled out if they forgive, or like, let's say you settle. So if you settle a $3,000 debt for $1,000, you'll receive a 1099-C for $2,000. Because it's greater than $600, it is now considered taxable income, and you will have to file that 1099-C with your taxes. That is what a 1099-C is used for. It is not something that you send to a creditor because you are the debtor. You owe. Now, and then it's so crazy because then like I fall down the rabbit hole here on TikTok and I see the videos where they be trying to dissect the definition of consumer and creditor and debtor. Don't fall for that shit. When I tell y'all that the FCA, where's my book? I'm about to show y'all. This is the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And it comes in different colors. The purple, if you see the one with the purple cover, it's the most recent one because they make changes over the years, right? So the purple one is the most recent one, but the Fair Credit Reporting Act is very easy to read. I have it available in my Facebook group for you guys to download for free. I'm pretty sure you can Google it and it'll pop up for free. If you have Kindle Unlimited, it's available for free. If you, they also have it on the FTC website where you can order these in bulk and then get them sent to you. But it's super easy to read that shit yourself. Oh, thank you. She said she liked my chair. Stop letting these people manipulate you because they assume that you are not intelligent enough to research this stuff yourself. Hey, what's up, Rogers? Stop letting these people talk to y'all crazy. Stop letting these people really have y'all out here looking stupid. A creditor is simple. Somebody that you owe money to. A debtor is simple. Somebody that owes money. You are a consumer. Unless you start issuing out lines of credit and shit, you're a consumer. I got it off of Amazon. I got my chair off of Amazon and I put it together myself. It was like $100. Not I mean like my husband. You better stop playing. You know he'd be popping up in the comments. Don't get beat up, Rogers. But you can't send a 1099. And even if you do send it, it's not going to absolve you of any debt. Like, and I think it's so crazy that it's not even crazy. What I will say is this. As inflation goes up and the cost of living increases and, you know, what we're making versus what we're spending to survive, it's not matching, right? And as that gets worse and worse, we will see more of these schemes, scams, and posts, right? People who are, and they use buzzwords like generational wealth, generational, I'm trying to break generational curses. I'm trying to build generational wealth. Like they use those words to rope you in and then they hook you in these schemes. And they'll be like, all right, check it out. I'll fill this paperwork out for you. You give me about 20% of whatever it was you owed, and then we'll call it even, right? That's where they getting money out of this comes from. Now, what I will say, and like I said earlier, is that it takes 2 seconds for y'all to search this stuff up yourself. Now, it's one thing, oh, you know, I don't know nothing about finances. So then what are you willing to do to learn about? Like, are you going to keep, and I say it all the time, even to my followers, for any of you who've been following me for any amount of time, I say it all the time. You can listen to what I say, but I still tell you, go look at it yourself. When I'm doing these videos and I'm making these posts, I always try to reference where you can find this information. Or even in the comments, you can ask me in the comments and I'll tell you exactly where you can find it. And it could be the military and the trust issues that I have, but something that was always drilled in me is trust but verify. Like I believe what you said, but I need to go look at it myself just to be sure. And a lot of times you can debunk a lot of these people just by asking simple questions. Once you start asking them questions and they can't engage with you, or like they're doing a lot of talking but not really saying a lot of things, those are red flags. When they're repeating the same language, like earlier when I went searching on TikTok for videos on becoming a sovereign citizen, one thing that I kept hearing over and over is chattel property, chattel property, chattel property, chattel property. That's one of the biggest red flags, because I see it all the time. If you search hashtag FCRA, that's one of the biggest red flags, because if you search a topic and you see all these videos and they're repeating the same words over and over, and I mean word for word, bar for bar, like these videos were saying the same thing over and over. A lot of times it's just people trying to get that engagement. They're trying to get these likes and these followers and stuff. So they're repeating the content that's trendy. You get what I'm saying? These people don't really know what the fuck they're talking about. A lot of times they're just repeating the stuff that they hear. They get on these lives and they take notes, and then they go live and repeat everything that person said. Or they'll see a video that got 1 million views and they'll literally go in their room, regurgitate the exact same information, trying to recreate that success with that video. I get the need or the want to build a social media following, to establish a community, because you want that money, and I get it. I totally get it. But if you are going to consider yourself a personal finance or wealth management or whatever content creator, you also have a responsibility to your audience to make sure that the information you're giving to them is factual. We're not just regular fucking content creators. We're not fashion creators or music creators. We can't just say shit. When you're an educational content creator, when somebody is coming to you to learn something, you have a responsibility to put out the most accurate information, because you literally can ruin someone's life with this information. I read an article earlier in the New York Times that talked about a couple who fell for the sovereign citizen scheme, and the husband and the wife lost everything. They lost everything, and they had no clue that this was even illegal until the IRS came and knocked on their door. And the only reason they avoided jail time was because they testified against the person who led them down that path. Which is wild to me. Like I don't know. I get really frustrated as a personal finance content creator, because especially in a niche like mine, when it comes to credit, because there are so many people out here spreading misinformation and saying false shit. So of course, as soon as I step out and be like, well, yeah, I got my start in the personal finance world with credit, I instantly get these dirty looks. And if any of you see me, there's a guy called the Finance Rebel on YouTube and Twitter. And he had me on his show a couple weeks ago, his YouTube show. And he literally, like, he's even said to me, like, I typically hate credit people. Like, I can't stand credit people. He was like, but after listening to you talk and watching your content, like, I'm here for it. I like it. Like, you're changing people's minds surrounding that content or that industry. And I like that. But I hate that I even got to fucking do it. But I have to do it because of content like this. I have to. A 1099-C is not illegal. So this is why I need y'all to pay attention. Okay. A 1099-C is not illegal. A 1099-C is a legitimate IRS tax document that you receive whenever any debt greater than $600 is forgiven. They send you that because all of that is now considered taxable income. However, the topic was, actually, I'll put it up on the screen so you can see. So, can I become a sovereign citizen and wipe my debt clean? One of the schemes or scams that I often see with some people who are pushing sovereignty is that they'll tell people that you can use a 1099-C or a 1099-A to wipe their debt. That's not what that's for, and that's not what that does. That's what the point of this live is. But I don't know. I just don't understand why a lot of people don't see how that's fake. They'll be like, well, they'll be like, well, it worked. Of course, every scheme or scam works in some capacity. My credit lender for my vehicles wrote 2 separate loans, but cross-collateralized them. I'm filing bankruptcy. Was that a question? I don't know why all these comments are popping up all of a sudden. I don't know what you're saying. I mean, you're good. I just don't know what you were saying with that comment. Or was that just a statement? If that was just a statement, you're good. Yeah. I actually have a copy of a 1099-C I can show you. Hold on, let me take that off. Yeah, so this is a 1099-C. This is what it would look like. And it would pretty much just have who the debtor is, who the creditor is, how much they forgave, and stuff like that. That's what it looks like. Nothing too complicated. Late payments. Oh, wait. Can you debunk bankruptcy? What do you mean debunk it? It's a legitimate thing. How can I debunk a legitimate thing? Late payments, can I remove them? Because I wrote letters asking my creditors and they refused. Because, okay, so that's actually a really good question. So I guess we're taking questions. So everybody drop your credit questions in the comments. I was not planning on being live long today. So here's the thing about late payments. Late payments are not like other derogatory information on your credit, because these are actually true and super easy to prove. And there's literally a actual piece of the FCRA that states that if you were in fact late, they can report it. They actually have an obligation or duty to report if it's one of your original creditors. So just because you ask them, if they say no, then they say no. There's literally nothing you can do about that other than keep asking them every couple of months or so. Now, I typically tell people that in order to be granted, and it's called a goodwill, right? In order to be granted a goodwill change or a good faith, it's like a good faith update or something like that. In order to be granted that, you have to have a good relationship with this lender, and this has to be something that they do. So, for example, Capital One, they will not advertise that this is something that they do, and they only do it in certain cases. Like, it's literally on a case-by-case basis. But like, you having a good relationship is definitely paramount to them even thinking about qualifying you for a good faith adjustment. That's what it's called, a good faith adjustment. I don't know why it slipped my mind. Now, there are some situations where you can manipulate the law in your favor to get late payments updated, not necessarily removed, but updated. And what I mean by that is, for example, the Fair Credit Billing Act, or the FCBA, is a part of the FCRA, and it specifically applies to credit cards. So let's say we'll use Capital One again. So let's say that Capital One has a late payment that they're reporting for you. The FCBA specifically states that they cannot report late payments unless they can prove that they gave you access to your monthly statement no less than 21 days before your due date. So if you can then prove that Capital One did not give you access to your monthly statement, for example, this works a lot with people who do not have online accounts for their credit cards or whatever the case may be. And let's say that you moved. So this means that you never received your monthly statement. And when you updated them that you moved, you still never received a monthly statement at that address prior to your payment due date. So this means that you never received it. So this means that for that month, they cannot report a late payment. All you have to do is prove it. You get what I'm saying? So if you can find little things like that you can use in your favor, because technically you're not committing fraud or anything like that. You legitimately did not receive a monthly statement. So you are legitimately asking that they remove the late payment from your credit report and replace it with an on-time payment. You can also force a company to prove that you were late. If they cannot prove that you were actually late, then they will have to update that late payment to paid as agreed. So there are instances where you can use the law in your favor, but you can't force a creditor to change it, if that makes sense. Like, you can use the law on how information is reported to get them to update it, right? But you can't force a creditor to change it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. What's up, Cam? What's good, fam? I'm sorry, you teaching. I'm just answering questions, honestly. I wasn't even planning on being live long today. I'm not sure if that is my best route or if that is a bad idea. So I do not advise people on bankruptcy. If you feel that's your best option, then you feel like that's your best option. I'm not a bankruptcy lawyer, but there are a lot of consequences when it comes to filing bankruptcy. So that's definitely something you should take into consideration before making that decision. It's definitely not something you should take lightly, especially because I don't know your entire financial history. So what if you're a day late? Does it get reported? No, but sometimes they'll charge you fees. They do not report a late payment until your 31st day late. That's when they report late payments. So you literally have 30 days to make that payment before they'll report you. Ooh, what other questions y'all got? Ooh. I guess I'll throw that up there since we're done talking about sovereignty. I'll throw that up there. You're so welcome. What other questions? Y'all ain't got no more questions? Because I'll get off. Oh, hey, we going back to that. Okay. What is your take on the meet your strawman? So here's the thing, and I said it in my TikTok video, and I'll say it here. I don't have a problem with sovereignty or becoming a sovereign citizen if that is a decision that you make. I'm fully supportive of that. I am not a sovereign citizen, but to each his own. This live was more so me addressing some of the schemes and scams that are closely associated with being a sovereign citizen. Thank you, Cam. Oh, I hit 200K, y'all. For those of y'all who ain't know, I have 200,000 followers on TikTok now, which is a huge blessing. So thank you guys. It really means a lot. Like high key means a lot. What other questions y'all got? Oh, shoot, Sunday Funday with Marquia. Let's get brunch. It is 7:50. It is 7:50. Listen, I'm all brunched out. My anniversary passed last week, and that's all we did was eat. Like, listen, I need to be outside walking somewhere. But anybody else got more questions about this sovereignty situation? I'm not a sovereign citizen. So don't ask me about the process because I can't tell you shit. But anybody else got any more credit questions? Somebody, I don't know where the comment went, and I tried to scroll it up, but too many people came in the room, I couldn't see it. But there was a comment because I had said something. I said that there are some states where once the student loan forgiveness goes through, you will be taxed on your student loan forgiveness. And as of right now, that is completely true. Are they working on legislations to change that? Yeah. Has it gone through? No. So as of right now, like if your student loans are forgiven tomorrow and they're greater, than $600 and you live in certain states, yes, your student loan will be taxed. Your student loan forgiveness will be taxed. I'm sorry, I was reading something. Matter of fact, I can tell you exactly what states. Hold on. I can tell you. Hold on. I got it saved in my computer. What did I save that? Oh, thank you for the rose. Tax. There we go. Now, this is not federal taxes. This is state taxes. So these are specific states who are, here it is. So the states that will tax you on your student loan forgiveness, and I guess I'll do a video about this as soon as I get off, but it's Mississippi, North Carolina, Indiana, and Minnesota. Right now, Wisconsin, Arkansas, and California are reviewing their laws. However, yes, looking like y'all gonna be paying taxes on that. Of where you live or took the student loans. It's based on where, remember, whenever it comes to debt, it's always based on the state you lived in when you signed the contract. So if you was going to USC and that's where your student loans was for, and now you live in New Hampshire, who does not have a state income tax, you will still be taxed on that student loan forgiveness by the state of California, is what this say right here. I'm not a tax professional. If y'all want tax advice, y'all need to follow the Finance Rebel. He's my go-to for tax shit. It's a good thing I live in PA and Maryland. No, for real. I had a collection that was deleted and now it's back under a new agency, but nobody contacted me. So here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize when their debt goes to collections. A lot of times they're using really, really old contact information for you. So it's likely that they sent a letter to an old address that you may have had, and you just never received it. Literally that simple. And that's completely legal. Because what that means is that collection was sold to a new company. So the old company can no longer report on that debt because you no longer owe them. The new company is going to report. And that only applies to collections. It doesn't apply to charge-offs. But because that debt was sold, that is why the old company is no longer reporting. And that's why the new company is reporting. And honestly, it's super simple to get in contact with them if you plan on disputing or setting up some sort of payment arrangement. All you got to do is literally send them a debt validation letter, which says, hey, I recently pulled a copy of my credit report and I'm noticing that you all are reporting that I owe you a debt. I never received any notification of a debt being owed. So could you kindly send me any evidence that you have to support your claim that I owe you money? Thank you. Literally that simple. You don't, a lot of people like send a 611, send a 609. You don't got to do all that. You literally do not have to be that aggressive initially. A lot of times being that aggressive will get your dispute rejected sometimes because they'll be like, oh, this sounds like it's coming from a third party agency, which is not illegal and there's nothing wrong with it, but they try to use that to stall you out. My parents received my BGE collection and they put it, my parents revived my BGE collection, put it on my report. It's the last, received. It's the last address they have. Yeah. So they go based off of the information that they received when they purchased the debt, because when they purchase the debt, they get all the paperwork that was with it. And so when they looking at it, they only got the address that this company had when you got the debt. So if you've never updated your contact information with anybody who has tried to pursue you for the debt, then it's likely that you haven't received any communications. What other questions y'all got from me? Got me going. Oh, I just realized I'm not live on Instagram because I'm holding my phone in my hand. Jesus. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. No other questions? Because I told you I was not going to stay live. So this repo keeps getting verified after it's still wrong. That is so flipping crazy. How do you remove closed student loans that were sold or transferred? The new loans are discharged. So here's the thing. Before I say, and I always do this with student loans, but before I say any of that, let me say by removing your student loans, a lot of you are going to end up causing more harm than good to your credit. Even though you got like late payments or whatever the case may be, what you fail to realize is when you remove an account, you're removing everything associated with the account, including things like payment history, credit age, and stuff like that, all of which are used to calculate your credit score. So you really, really, really need to make sure that this is the only option you have to recapture some of those points. Now, having said that, the way that you can remove closed student loans is you got to force them to prove that you owed in the first place. When a debt is sold, a lot of times the paperwork gets lost in translation, right? Because it's like, you don't owe me anymore, so what do I care? Like, I got my money, I'm out. So what you'll do is it's something similar to a debt validation letter, but you'll send it directly to the company who's servicing your student loans. And you'll say, hey, I recently pulled a copy of my credit and I'm noticing that you all are reporting a loan that I had with you. And you provide the account number and you say, I'm formally requesting a copy of the promissory note. Please provide me a copy of the promissory note at your earliest convenience. Or if you cannot find a promissory note, please remove the student loan from my credit report. The promissory note is what ties you to that debt. That is where you acknowledge that you will receive this education in exchange for like paying them all this money for the rest of your life, essentially. And so if they cannot provide that contract, which ties you to that debt, then they will have to remove that account. And honestly, that goes with anything. It's not necessarily called a promissory note, depending on the other types of debt. However, when you do a debt validation, you are looking for anything that can tie you to that debt. And not just tie you to the debt in the sense that your name is on it, but tie you to the debt in the sense that they can prove that you are liable for that debt. You know, and liability is everything. Because, for example, if you're an authorized user, you are not financially liable for the debt. Yeah, it'll report to your credit and everything. However, if something, God forbid, happens to the person that you're on their account and the debt is not paid, they're not going to pursue you for it. Do you know anything about eCredit Advisor? I want to buy a house and this is who the builder wants. Sorry, I don't have any experience with them personally. So my student loans has my middle initial and name incorrect. Does that mean I could dispute those? Technically, yes. That's an inaccuracy, so you can use that to dispute. Now, is that going to be enough to get the damn account taken off? Probably not, but that gives you something to get your foot in the door. You see what I'm saying? They give you something to get the foot in the door. To fix my credit, but I don't see the difference in between me fixing my credit versus me. The builder wants me to go through to fix my credit, but I don't see the difference in between me fixing my credit versus me. Let me tell you something. This is so crazy. Everybody be like, whatever. Like, because I am a credit repair specialist. I operate a credit repair company. But I tell y'all 1,000%, fix your own credit. Fix your own credit. Now, are there people who pay me to do it for them? Absolutely. Because they do not have the time or they just don't want to do it. Let's just be honest. They just don't want to do it. And they hire me. And I get it. And that's probably what they want for you. They know, like, listen, you probably not gonna fucking do it. And we want to sell you this house because we want your money. So just go to this person and they'll do it for you. It's probably what they're trying to do. But I am 1,000% pro fix your fucking credit. Car was repoed December 2019. It says it was repoed June 2022. So I'm confused why they won't correct it. And I think we've talked about this multiple times, and like you've provided them the documents and all this stuff. I don't know what's going on with this. Have you talked to a consumer lawyer? Because you might have a case at this point. I would listen. They should see if you can find a consumer lawyer that do free consultations and explain to them your situation and see what they can do. Of course, they closed it. They probably told the CFPB, like, yeah, we'll look into it. Never did. I love your realness. Hell, I'm gonna hire you to fix mine because I'm lazy as fuck. Okay, so let me tell y'all now. I am not the credit specialist for you if you're lazy. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not the credit specialist for you if you're lazy. I require my clients to check in with me at a minimum every 30 days. Whether you got to update or not, we need to be sitting down and we need to meet up every 30 days. I require that whenever you get letters, you need to have them uploaded into the client portal within 5 business days. They need to be uploaded in the portal, ready for me to look at. I give you tasks every month. When we sit down on these calls, all right, girl, we need to do this, this, this. So that next month when we talk, I expect to see some kind of progress. I hold you accountable. I am very hard on my clients. Very hard on my clients. And some people don't like that. And I get that. And I love that for you. That's not what you want. I'm not what you want. I'm totes okay with that. But I do require my clients to take a certain level of accountability when it comes to repairing their credit. It's super easy to just throw money at people and expect shit to happen. But what a lot of people fail to realize is that doesn't solve the problem. You are the problem. I don't know if you knew this or not, but you're the problem. You are the reason that you ended up in this situation, whether it's because you didn't know something or you just, life happened. Whatever the reason, you are the reason that you ended up in this situation. So if you are just throwing money at people to pay, like you're just paying these people to do this for you, you're not fixing the problem. You're handling the system. I'm sorry, you're handling the symptom. I was reading this fucking comment. You just dealing with the symptom. So I confront you to make you deal with the problem. For example, this is probably a good time to tell y'all, listen, I pay a lot of money for y'all to get access to these free budget and action plans for free. Right? So one of the problems is that y'all don't know how to budget, or y'all just choose not to budget. That's also a thing I've seen a lot of lately. If you are somebody that don't know how to budget or don't know how to create a budget, this is a really good starting place. It takes like 10 minutes to answer all the questions, and it will spit out a customized budget and action plan. Not I married the problem. Oh my God. No, because I get it. I literally made a tweet today that was like, we got to stop getting married just because we love people. We need to start asking the hard questions. Like, do you leave the toilet seat up? What's your credit score? Like we need to start asking the hard questions. Do you chew with your mouth open? Need to do a duplicate website of Rate My Professor, Rate My Credit Specialist. It is. It's called all right, so let me put y'all on game, right? A lot of people think the credit industry is not regulated. That is not true. There's something known as the Credit Repair Organizations Act, which is inside of the FCRA that dictates what credit repair specialists can and can't do. And plus, each state has all these different regulations. Now, there are places where you can complain about your credit specialist. So you can go to the the Attorney General of your state and file a complaint if they did something illegal. If you want to complain about their business, there are a couple options that you have. You can go to the CFPB and file a complaint. You can file a complaint with the Better Business Bureau, and you can file a complaint with the. No, I don't think you can file a complaint with them. Of course, you can file a police report if you think that they committed some kind of crime. Yeah, and I think that's it. But you got options. When you guys run into these scammy ass people, y'all got choices. Oh, you're getting a divorce. Trust me, that ain't easy, child. Let me tell you. Trust me, that ain't easy. So I'm definitely here for you. State attorney in your state or where the account is based. In your state. So you can call your state attorney, the state that you are currently living in, and you can tell them what's going on and they'll investigate. That's how that lady in Texas got caught up. That lady in Texas got caught up. Well, that's not the exact way she got caught up. My friends are so annoying because if I sit here and decline a call, that don't mean ring me every 3 seconds. Sean, I hope you watch this. But yeah, that's how she got caught. Well, no, she got caught up in a really weird way. She was using doctored police reports, and when they called the police department to check, like, I guess something was wrong on the form, and so they called the police department like, yo, can I speak to such and such and such? That was how that lady got caught up, when they realized it was a fake police report. That shit was wild. But any other questions? Look, y'all not gonna have me on here all night like y'all always do. Y'all not doing this to me. What other questions and stuff y'all got for me before I go to bed tonight? And be right back in here tomorrow morning. Oh, damn, it's only 8 o'clock. Jesus. All right. Well, y'all know what I always say. If you guys ever have... Stop playing. No, for real. I'm mad. I know exactly. I'm mad. I know that exact fucking law office. That is not Levine's. What was it? Kirk and Hamilton. Oh my God. I remember the commercial. Oh, that just threw me back. You cute. Can you go get me some candy? But it's dark outside. I don't want to go outside. I'm not doing this with you today. Well, thank y'all, everybody. Thank y'all, everybody. Will you take someone to court over $500? I will. Absolutely. I don't care if you owe me $1. We going to court. We gonna have to talk to the judge because you owe me money. And if somebody take me to court over $500, then that is what it is. I owe them. I can't be mad about it. When you owe people money, I always tell people, expect to go to court for money that, like, if somebody owed you, you will fight them for. That's what I typically tell people. Not okay, portfolio. Okay. No, for real, because it's given very much LVNV, portfolio recovery services, middling credit management. Is Experian Boost good? So it's not necessarily bad, but the problem is it only boosts your Experian score. So what about the other 2 credit scores? You're not doing shit for them. Now, an alternative to Experian Boost that I think would be better for you if you have an iPhone is something called Altro, ALTRO.io. And what they do is they take your subscriptions and they report them to the credit bureaus for you to help you build that credit history. I fought my son because I paid his rent for 2 months and he didn't pay me back. No, because period. You're going to have to fight me for that too. Matter of fact, this is my shit now. Get out. How do you feel about apps like Experian? Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, the apps, the website, the companies themselves, those are legit. So I feel like they legit. As high as rent is, I would too. No, dead ass. Okay. Shit. Come pay my rent. Shit. All right, no, for real, because I'm already literally like 15 minutes over what I planned on being today, because this is not what the live was supposed to be about. But for those of you who do not normally follow me, make sure you follow me. If you click the link in my bio on my TikTok page, you can check out all my social media accounts. You can subscribe to my email list. You can read my blog, all that good stuff. I also currently have this. Oh, wait, let me take my thing off. This is the freebie that everybody is getting when you sign up for my email list right now. It's credit building tips that everybody can use, as well as a couple credit building accounts everybody can use. So if you are not already on my email list, all you got to do is subscribe to it to get it. And if you are on my email list, it's going out tomorrow. So it's a win-win. But thank you guys, everybody. Y'all know what I always say. Live every day like it's your last, but pay your bills and wear condoms just in case it's not. And I'll be live again tomorrow. So I'll see y'all tomorrow.